The enmity in any case is a terrible wound in the body of Christ which cannot withstand true worship, sacrifice and prayer. Today's Gospel passage focuses on how Jesus goes deeper into the meaning of 3 commandments. Do not commit murder, do not commit adultery, and do not bear false witness. He does not abolish the validity of the old law. Instead, he asks us not to be satisfied with its external observance, but to go deeper into its meaning. The 3 commandments mentioned here directly involve our neighbor. The first and greatest commandment given by Jesus is that we love God and our neighbor as we love ourselves. Mark chapter 12. Enmity is the opposite of love. All these 3 commandments point out that enmity can be the reason for someone to commit a murder or bear false witness, and fake or distorted love is the reason someone commits adultery. We are asked to check on our disposition rather than the action. Concerning committing murder, the anger and the passionate words against our neighbor might sometimes be equal to committing murder. One's outward moral code and conduct may be correct, but we are asked to check on what occurs in our hearts, thoughts, and imagination about committing adultery. Bearing false witness and swearing in God's name for sinful situations shows how lightly we take the name of God in vain. We are asked to check our true reverence to God and our love for neighbor. The enmity in any case is a terrible wound in the body of Christ which cannot withstand true worship, sacrifice and prayer. The enmity and unforgiveness are like a bitter shrub that causes us to fail to obtain grace in our lives. See to it that no one fail to obtain the grace of God, that no root of bitterness spring up and cause trouble, and by it the many become defiled. Hebrews chapter 12:15. In our approach to people, we might show that we are good and correct, being a nice guy. But God's holiness is beyond human person's reach as He searches our hearts and discerns the inward thoughts and or disposition. To establish and grow into a loving relationship with God and a proportionate love for our neighbor, we need to constantly check our inner disposition rather than being satisfied with the external non-committance of sins, which was the project of Pharisees and scribes. True worshippers worship the Father in spirit and truth. To be spirit-filled and true to our life and words, the proper disposition to prayer. That is why we are asked to keep the offering away and go and reconcile with our brother and sister so that peaceful worship may be offered. Let us earnestly reflect on our relationships, not merely content with outward correctness, but striving for a genuine, loving disposition towards God and our neighbors. May our worship and actions flow from hearts filled with love, fostering harmony and true reverence for God and people in our lives.